Okay, so we will going to put a form together, and then after we put a form together, we will going to write PHP code, which will grab the data from the form, and then we're going to evaluate some of those things using an if condition. So to get started, I'm using the same PHP folder that I've been using from past few weeks. So I will create an HTML page which can be found under Other, under Web, you'll find HTML file. You will going to create the PHP page, and here's the information of the PHP page that you will create. If condition php.php. So you can copy that. You can right click to create a new PHP file with that information. So in this page, we will create a CSS class. The name of the class will be error, and these will be the properties of the class. Color red. So the idea would be to check the form field. If the form field is empty, then I'll display my text, and I will use this CSS class to render the properties of the text. So that will allow me to combine CSS, HTML, and PHP all in one place. So if empty, that's a built-in function, okay? How do you pull the value from a form if the method is post $_post, okay? And then you mention the name of the item that you are trying to read. So I'm trying to read email address. That's the name of my form element. So if email address is empty, then print paragraph using the class error . Then I would like you to save this example Run your HTML form. Try to send both as blanks, one of the two as blanks. So do multiple tests. So if I enter both of them empty, it gives me 2 error messages. If I put one of them empty, then only 1 error message. And if both of them are filled, then no error message. Now, because I use type equals to email, it will not let me go past if I enter a value which is not in the correct email format. So that is being done by the web browser using HTML5 standards. So PHP has no play in this. Okay, now let's declare a Boolean variable called OK to a value of true. Anytime any of the errors occur, we will going to change the value of OK to false. If there's an error, we're going to change the value of OK to false. Our last if condition will be to check to see if OK stays true. So you don't have to do this, what I'm just doing. Rather, what the programmers should do is, that's enough, because the OK is already a true or false value. Print. So now let's run this again. Refresh the HTML form. And register. You have been successfully registered for the event. If I make a mistake, enter your password. Enter your email. So I was able to check for all possible conditions here, and it works just fine. Okay, now let's go back to HTML form, and let's add one more item. Now let's switch to the PHP page. And right at the top, we will now going to declare a constant. Define is how you declare constants here. Now we will check to see if the value entered in the year is a numeric value or not. So we can also do that with the help of a built-in function called isNumeric. Now you go back to your form, refresh it, enter some valid values, and then click register, and that should be able to tell you, okay, what's wrong here? Ah, very good. So we talked about it, right? So if I use double quotes here, and then I refresh, the output will be just fine. So that is the main difference that we talked about a couple weeks ago, single quotes versus double quotes. Single quotes will not evaluate variables, double quotes will. Okay, now we're going to add another if condition here, just so that you could see that the same entity can be used in multiple conditions. If the value of year is greater than the current year, okay, I'm just copying and pasting my else statement here. So now when we enter a value, let's say 2019, it complains about that. Okay, now we will going to include a nested if condition. We're going to change these two independent ifs into a nested if. And we will also going to include an ampersand so that we can do AND operation. So if it is a numeric value, then I must check to make sure that, if you remember last week we learned about string length. Now the string length, if it is equals to 4. So if it is 4 digits long. If it's numeric and it's four digits long. Now I will going to copy and paste this if condition that I had. If post year greater than current year. I'll just copy this and paste it right here and change it to if post year is less than current year. So in that case, I will calculate the age. Otherwise, I'll have one long message instead of having so many messages. So let me cut my message from the previous else. So we have been able to include in this example nested if. Also, we've been able to include multiple conditions in an if condition. Now let's test to make sure that the year is true for all possible sets that we want it to be true for. So I want you to run a few tests here. Try to enter an alphanumeric value. Try to enter year less than 4 digits. Try to enter a value which is current year for the year of birth to see if it is erroring out in all these three cases. Now we will go back to our HTML form and include a checkbox here. And the purpose of this checkbox will be at the end of the registration. We want to give them a checkbox to agree to our terms and conditions. And then in the PHP, we'll check to see if they check the checkbox or not. So input type equals to checkbox. So we have a checkbox, and this is how it will appear on the form. A little checkbox. Okay. Now in the PHP document, right past the else for here, we will now going to make a check. If we have another built-in function called isSet. Okay. So now what we are checking for is that when do we want to display an error message? When it is not set. So that's why I'm using a not sign. When it is not set, who is not set? After this, you enter all the information that needs to be entered. But do not check the checkbox. I'm going to say you must accept the terms and conditions. And if you check the checkbox, then just goes through fine. Okay, now let's go back to the HTML form and copy this line of password and paste it down below here. And on the second line, we're going to call this one confirm password. And the name will also be confirm password. So I copied the password line, pasted it right below, and changed it to confirm password, the name, and the text. Now the idea would be to make sure on the PHP side that the password and confirm password match. So we will go to our PHP page, and now we're going to write another if condition. So now make them different and check to see if this works fine. So we're going to go back, refresh. use switch case. Now going to the PHP. Sessions matches morning, the value of session time is morning. If sessions matches afternoon, it is afternoon, otherwise it's evening. And then we are displaying that on line 71. So now we refresh, we fill in the information. Your session time is afternoon. There's one more thing I would like to add in the PHP code. Based on the session, I'll have a variable called meal cost. Shoot. Okay, next, let's go to HTML form if condition.html, and let's save this page as HTML form if condition.php. So we are saving that same HTML page as .php page. Now I'm introducing one more items down below, right after my select for session. Please select number of sessions you will attend in a year. So what I wanted, the reason I converted this into a PHP page, because now I will going to generate those options in a loop because they're consecutive numbers. This ain't acting up. So now as I run it on server, of course I need to do a BR after that. So as I run it on server now, notice that this is all filled up with values, 1 through 10. And that's being done because of this code.